Hello and welcome to Kopites Calling with Dave and Nik. Today is a special day because we are actually for the first time doing the podcast together. Here at Kopites Calling, we discuss all things that is Liverpool football, and earlier in the week, the new kit or uniform was revealed by Nike for the 24-25 season. And this kit, Nick, is inspired by the kit that the Liverpool team wore in Rome in '84, when Liverpool played Roma in the European Cup final and won 4-2 on penalties. For me, the actual kit they wore in Rome was better than this particular kit. This kit is a mess. I absolutely despise the way the neck looked. The neck is just horrible.
Yeah, it's a weird kit. I would agree that it's hard not to notice the neckline because it kind of cuts off at a weird way. It cuts off in like a straight line.
It's a straight line.
It doesn't really have a curve of a neck or like a V-neck, which is what the kit in Rome. I mean, you can see what Nike was trying to do and pay homage to this sort of, historic kit that Liverpool is. It's a very historic club. The one saving grace I can say is that if they got rid of the neckline, I think I'd like it a lot. Well, so that's the crazy. I mean, I don't know if Nike's allowed to rescind it or anything. Yeah. Probably not, because people are already buying it or pre-ordering it.
Absolutely.
But I think that the thing I do tend to... It's hard to judge kits based off the pictures. When we see it on the pitch for the first time in Anfield, which is what I'm assuming they'll wear it in the final day of the season, which is what they typically do when Nike releases a new kit. You'll wear it in the last game of the season.
Right.
Because we've seen kits like this. Nike's had this weird reign of Liverpool, I would say, which leads into our next point, which is apparently we're going back to Adidas. But Nike's had this weird reign of us where they've been very much hit or miss.
Yeah.
I remember when the kit came out for the 21-22 season where it was that orangish red and it has that green on the back of the neck. Yeah. And you and I, Dave, were talking about how we didn't like it as well, but then when we saw it on the pitch, we're like, all right, we kind of like that.
Yeah.
It grew on us.
True.
It grew on us. So I think that this could be one that could potentially grow on us because I like the color of the Nike sign, that yellow, that off sort of dark yellow. I like the dark yellow of the liver bird. I think they have a good idea here, but the neckline is so distracting. It's so distracting. So it's definitely not off the picture really nice.
Yeah, I'm actually looking really forward to us getting back with Adidas for the 25-26 season because Adidas did some really nice kits for us. I liked a lot that Adidas did for us whenever they were the uniform provider for the team. Anyway, so again, we had to talk about that. But I guess what we're really getting into here is the actual game that was played today, Liverpool Tottenham. It is kind of amazing for me I don't even really want to think about it, that with this game today, there are only 3 games left in Jurgen Klopp's time at Liverpool. It just, it kind of, when he announced that he was leaving to now, it just seems like it just
flew by.
It was the blink of an eye, and he's at the last 3 games in his tenure, in his 9-year tenure. At this point, at the beginning of the game, Liverpool was sitting at 75 points. And Klopp had said that he thinks a realistic goal for the team is to get to 84. So that's in the 3 games. That's getting 9 points out of the remaining 3 games.
I think to your point on Klopp, it's hard not to get, and I'm sure the emotions will start pouring out of us, all Liverpool fans, on that last day of the season whenever, we're playing at home against Wolves. I'm sure he'll give a speech, do a lap. I'm going to get choked up just talking about it.
Yeah.
What this man has done for Liverpool was incredible, very much incredible. In 9 years, he's won absolutely everything. But getting into the game, the lineup was fairly... You just never really knew what Liverpool were going to go out with the lineup today. So I think that the lineup was very much kind of players in form, kind of not. But starting off, we had Alisson and net with the center backs being Kwanzaa and Van Dijk, right back as Trent, left back as Robbo. Midfield 3 was Endo, McAllister, and Elliott. with a front three of Mo, Gakpo, and Diaz. So, again, I don't think, Dave, did you really have an idea of what Klopp would do today?
I really didn't know. What ended up happening was there was only really one change from the West Ham game, and that was Mo in for Gravenberg. What I did think was interesting today is we saw it last week as well, we have a healthy Konate, and Kwanzaa has been the preferred defender for the last two games.
Yeah, I think that we've touched on this on Kopites Calling, is the whole Kwanzaa Konate. I hate to make it a debate, but it's turning into a debate now because Kwanzaa has been preferred in a game where Liverpool would like to win. So you're putting them in games where Jurgen wants the 3 points, the players want the 3 points, the fans want the 3 points. It's not a throwaway game. Right. It's not an FA Cup, not a Carabao Cup early round, not playing a championship side, not playing a lesser opponent like Sparta Prague in the Europa League or stuff like that. I mean, This is a game against Tottenham, a top six quote-unquote team that Tottenham is, and Kwanzaa, again, gets the nod.
Well, I mean, Tottenham, they're coming into the game, they were in fifth place behind Villa. They're only out of the Champions League spot by 7 points. So this was an important game for them to get 3 points as well. Fun little fact on Tottenham is their nickname is Hotspur, and they were named Hotspur after an English knight who fought the Scots in the 100 Years' War. I thought that was a little interesting thing to throw out there. Anyway, a couple other little facts to throw out there. Mo Salah has had a hand in 9 goals across his last 13 league appearances versus Spurs. He's had 8 goals and 1 assist. And if Liverpool would win this game today, that would take Jurgen past 700 points totaled in his Premier League time. Right now, he's at 698 in 331 fixtures. So
like an almanac.
Absolutely.
Facts,
hey, when facts come at me, I think they're fun. I throw them out there. Here's another one. Now that we're doing it, Nick, I'm going to go for it before the game starts. Liverpool versus Spurs, there have been 6 90th minute winners in the Premier League, most of any other fixture in the competition history.
Jeez, I mean, you think about last game at home against Tottenham at Anfield was last April, and Jota had a 95th minute winner.
Yeah, think what Harry Kane used to do too.
Yeah, Harry Kane would always
91st minute, 92nd. I mean, he was always doing something late in a game to kill us. If Mo would score in this game today, he'd be ninth. He'd be 9th in the league against Spurs and would pass the club record of 8.
That's an insane record.
Yeah, and one more fun thing, and then we will get on to the game. Trent Alexander-Arnold made his Reds debut against the Spurs in 2016.
That's great. I honestly forgot about that. I mean, that's crazy to hear. I mean, at this one in time, Dave, you could just have an episode based on your almanac.
You know what? I'm just going to have a whole Kopites Calling of just me throwing facts at you.
Yeah, it gives the listeners every sort of thing they need on Liverpool.
Absolutely. So, interestingly, the game starts, and we see, as we always see, early pressure from Spurs. We were able to handle this. This pressure was handled, and we're starting to see us finding our footing, and for me, Robbo was looking very bright early in the game, and then we get into the 7th minute. Mo hits the ball off a crossbar, and it was a Gakpo pass that looked. Gakpo was kind of looking lively early as well.
Very.
So. We're just seeing a team that's starting to kind of build. They were just building in confidence as this was kind of moving forward, but we were still in a situation where we weren't scoring.
Yeah,
and so I had talked to Nick prior to this, and we had kind of said what we see with the 2 teams who are now leading and fighting for the title of the Premier League in Arsenal and Man City. Those teams are ruthless. They don't give teams a chance to stay in a game. Now, I know we're talking about early stages here, but I'm thinking to myself, Arsenal and Man City would not be playing this game this way. They'd be scoring goals. They wouldn't be missing these chances.
No, 100%. I can agree more. I mean, just yesterday, Erling Haaland scored 4 goals in a game. I mean, there's never a shadow of doubt when Arsenal and City go on the field against any team, whether it's a team in the bottom half, middle half, top 6, that they aren't going to put their nail in the coffin as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I don't think with the chances Liverpool was creating early, if it was City or Arsenal, I'm confident that one of those would have fallen in the first 15 minutes.
Absolutely. And, for instance, in the 9th minute of the game today, Mo has a shot saved by the keeper. Harvey has a shot blocked by Romero. I mean, it's that kind of thing. It's like these defenders, these goalkeepers are
Sounds like they try harder against us.
Yeah, it really does seem that way. But, Jarrell Kwanzaa, again, I think there's a reason this kid is getting in there ahead of Konate. And he was really doing some really strong passing and defending early in the game as well. So I was kind of feeling like this game was going to be Liverpool playing, which we haven't really done the last couple times out. This was solidified by all fans of Liverpool whenever you see in the 16th minute a Mo Salah goal off a beautiful, beautiful ball from Gakpo. And walk us through it, Nick.
Yeah, here's to Dave's point. He had mentioned the freedom that Robbo and Gakpo were playing with early down that left-hand flank. And it's crazy because, surprise, surprise, this goal was created from the left-hand flank. And guess what Gakpo played when we bought him and we saw his success in the World Cup and at PSV? He was a left winger.
Yeah.
So he came off the left shoulder, off the left flank, cut in a couple touches. I think Dave and I were both yelling at him to shoot.
Yes.
Luckily, he picked the right decision with this pass.
He went to decision school.
Yeah, exactly. It was a beautifully flighted ball that, Mo makes that sort of late run to the back corner a lot, and he's fairly successful with it a lot. So he generated just enough power. I mean, you could say the ball from Gakpo didn't have a lot of power on it because it had a little bit of flight on it. So he generated enough power with the header. He snapped his head back across goal. Just a very intelligent finish from Mo. I mean, it was that late run into the box. But again, created by Gakpo, created off the left wing. We had a lot of success down that flank.
And the interesting thing for me, and I think we commented on it as we watched this, typically Mo doesn't score a lot of goals with his head.
No.
And so it was kind of interesting to see him go up and get that with his head and snap it in like you were saying, because the keeper had a hand on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he generated the power, and there wasn't a lot of space for him to put that ball in the net, and he was able to get it in there with his head, which was encouraging.
Very.
Moving forward, as much as we've been riding this guy, Gakpo was really lively and really doing some good things. And I felt that Mo was doing the same. I thought both of them were kind of playing off each other well, finding some space. The game was progressing the way a fan of Liverpool wanted it to. We had great pressure.
Winning the midfield battles. I mean, there was not a time in the first half that I thought Tottenham were going to press us. It was bizarre, right? Tottenham has been in this. Tottenham recently have kind of been a shadow of themselves to what they were in October, November, September. And they looked like a team in the first half that was scared of Liverpool, which we haven't seen from opposition in a while or in the past couple weeks.
They were clearly on their they were clearly in retreat mode.
Yeah, definitely.
And we thought there might have been a possible PK in the 33rd minute on Gakpo. Was really nothing there. It was probably the right call to not call a PK on that particular thing. We saw Diaz get involved in the act and threw a ball in toward Mo, and the shot was blocked. We see Nick made the comment in the 41st minute.
That's a tough one.
It's tough to say.
It's a tough one.
It's just tough to say. Anyway, we saw Diaz try to make a complicated finish, and that's the Colombian coming out.
It's
the
the
South American.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something a little bit crazy.
Let
on
me do a
this thing.
scissor kick when I
Let
could
me-
have
yeah.
easily just decided to chest the ball and hit a normal volley. I'm going to do a scissor kick.
I'm gonna do that. Trent, Trent, when he gets up and he starts roaming forward, it's got to just strike fear into defenders whenever he gets on it. But he had a nice little shot over the crossbar in the 43rd minute. The fours are really throwing me off.
Yeah,
today.
you're
struggling with this.
Maybe you need to go back to grammar school.
I don't know.
School.
I think we should. I think I should. So, 45th minute. Hey, I got that out. Robbo puts in a ball off a rebound, off a shot from Mo. Walk us through, Nick. What happened?
Again, guess where it was created? On the left side. We had tons of joy down the left hand. I mean, Robbo making the overlapping runs that he's been making for years since he's been with us 5 years now, six, whatever it is. But I mean, that's where Robbo finds his freedom. Send a great ball in. Mo, again, great shot. Keeper, just as good a save. But guess what? I mean, that's another thing. I made the point that Mo likes to make that late darting run on the back post, which is how he scored the first goal. Robbo likes to make that run as well, which is good because he always kind of sneaks in that position. And the ball fell right to him. No one anticipated it but Robbo. I mean, he played the miss very, very well.
Yes, he did.
He anticipated the ball.
Yeah.
Whereas many people stood and watched. He kept his run going, tapped it right into a net. I mean, it's always fun watching Robbo score because it's almost like he doesn't really know what to do after he scores. Just like many defenders, he's like, oh, I just put that ball in the back of the net. Do I celebrate or what do I do now? But it's funny because Robbo's smile is kind of contagious. I feel like he has this big, Scottish weird smile look. I don't even know how to do it. Robbo's awesome. So I'm glad to see him, 2-0 up. Cannot even remember the last time that we scored 2 goals in the first half. It seems like it's been forever.
It's been forever. It's just fun to see Robbo play really anytime. He for me, Robbo is the Energizer Bunny when he's really on it.
Yeah.
He is just he's a machine that won't stop, and he's just up and down, and he's everywhere. And for him to get this goal, he's actually scored a couple goals recently for us, this being the second one that I can remember in recent games that were nicely taken balls. I mean, this was a smart goal today. It was
exactly that. He did what no other person did during that play, which was anticipate.
Absolutely. So, at this point it's 2-0, half's coming to an end, and we see an interesting thing for this particular first half where Liverpool had 47% of the possession and the Spurs had 53.
It's great. It's almost like, wow, so if we have less possession, we score now. That's almost like, you and I have been talking the past couple weeks about how we finished the first half with 58, 60, the other opposing team was like 40, whatever, but we're not scoring.
Yes.
So it's almost, the funny thing about having the ball sometimes, whenever you're playing soccer, is almost like you feel like you have too much pressure on yourself when you have the ball, because it's like you're waiting to do something. Mm-hmm. And then whenever you don't have it, or the times you do have it, whenever you don't have a lot of possession, you move more with purpose. Yeah. If that makes any sense, right? I mean, it's like if you're keeping the ball like a Barcelona does, or the teams that are known to keep the ball in world soccer, you almost expect them to walk the ball into the net because that's what they're trained to do. That's what they do. Liverpool has not had success with walking the ball into the net. Yeah. So this is a time where less of the ball was good for us today.
Right.
Because that when we got it, we were able to make the runs, take the shots, do what we had to do to create chances, which it's crazy, that led to that.
Well, I think that's a really interesting, what you're talking about there. I can't think of the right words, but it's almost like, scoring goals. Today we were scoring goals faster. So there wasn't as much time for us to pass around from left to right and back to Virgil and over to Kwanzaa and then up. We were actually getting the ball up, making a pass, making a cut, and a goal was going.
Exactly. Or a cross or a shot or something. There was movement with a purpose, whereas the past couple weeks of Liverpool, there's been no movement with a purpose. There's been a lull. There's been a boring back to front, front to back, right to left. Let's go to the midfield, then we go back to the center backs. We'll go to the winger. Maybe he'll get a cross in. Yeah. And rinse, repeat,
Right. What we did see, though, was 14 total shots from Liverpool. 1, to your point about Tottenham not really doing anything, 1 from Tottenham. We had 8 shots on goal. They had 0. We had 5 corners. They had 1. Their keeper made 5 saves, and Allison didn't make a save in the first half because he just didn't need to.
No, you could have ate a sandwich if you wanted to.
Absolutely. So, standout player for the first half for you, Nick?
Oh, I feel that's crazy when you say there could be so many in the first half. I think just because of how important he needed it, I'm going to go with Mo. Because ever since the West Ham game, we've kind of been wondering what the future of Mo Salah is going to be with Liverpool after the little scuttlebutt that him and Klopp had, and what his future could be with the looming Saudi league. Is he enjoying his football right now? And then he ends up getting a goal and an assist.
Yeah.
Granted the assist was off a rebound, but that's still an assist. He created the chance for Robbo to tap into the net. I also thought that he looked lively even in his 1v1 situations. The interesting thing I saw that I think I pointed out to Dave as well in the first half was our front three had this fluidity about. See, now I'm struggling with words.
There you go.
You're the force for you, and now it's like contagious on me. But there was this fluidity with the front three of Mo was keeping the width on the right side, and Diaz and Gakpo were doing this very good thing of overlapping, underlapping each other, whereas who's going to take the presence in the middle of the field, who's going to take the presence on the left side of the field, and it kept Tottenham on their toes a lot. It was very unpredictable movement from our front three. The only one that was finite in their position in our front three was Mo. And he was doing very well when he was isolated out there creating opportunities. It's just good. Mo's a legend. He'll always be a Liverpool legend. Who knows what happens in the summer. But seeing him play with a smile again today was definitely good to see in the first half. So that's why my first half player of the match for me is Mo.
I'm going to go with a player that I have really been down on and really been. I think as Kopites Calling, you have heard us just really mercilessly get on this particular player. Cody Gakpo had a half.
He did,
and I think everything was coming through Cody. The goal that Mo scored. The decision to get the ball to put the cross in to Mo was a good decision. Mm-hmm. We thought he could have shot as well, but everything was coming through Gakpo, and he was making the right decisions. The weighted passes he had. I don't think that Gakpo put 1 foot wrong in the first half.
No, and you could even make the case for Harvey Elliott as well. You can make the case for Robbo. I mean, it was a first half that was a collective Liverpool performance. It was.
Well, I even put down Kwanzaa. There were some amazing passes from Kwanzaa.
The funny thing about Kwanzaa, and sorry to interrupt, the funny thing about Kwanzaa, and I think I've mentioned this, a couple times when he's played, is that he finds himself in the Matip situations where he dribbles a lot. He gets into these weird situations where he finds acres of space and he just takes and takes and takes. Like Joel Matip has done for us a lot, and he's actually been very effective when he's made those runs, similar to Matip. But Kwanzaa it's first time you could say where you saw more out of Kwanzaa than Van Dijk in the first half. So
I don't really remember Van Dijk doing much, and I think that's because Van Dijk was kind of staying more in a defensive
100%.
posture, and he was letting Kwanzaa was kind of moving into getting some outlet passes and getting people started to go up the pitch. And so, anyway, it was a really refreshing half for Liverpool fans because it was unfortunate because you saw a team today, at least in the first half, that was playing with joy. We haven't been playing with that. I think the pressure of a lot of different things was weighing on these players. I mean, they're human beings as well, and they wanted the best for Klopp, and they were I think there is nothing that they're playing for now.
Yeah.
And so they were able to go out and play with a freedom that they haven't had in a while. And it was really a nice...
it was nice from a viewer perspective to see.
Exactly. Yeah. It was nice for us to see. So, anyway, no sub, no changes coming out for the second half. We finally, in the second half, this particular player, again, Nick mentioned him, Harvey Elliott had a great ball that Gakpo went up and got. Talk to me in the 49th minute, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Harvey Elliott's kind of been a weird situation all season, right? Does he do well when he starts? Does he do better off the bench? Is he the super sub? Can he be a Liverpool FC starter? In the Premier League. Today he showed that he can be. Other games this season when he started, he showed that he can't be, and then he comes off the bench and then shows he should be. It's this weird, it's this
you don't know
weird
which
thing.
Elliott you're going to get.
100%. But today he was playing with, to your point, the joy that we've seen a lot of Liverpool play with today. And this ball, again, was a beautifully flighted ball in off it. He's a left-footed player, so he got the ball, flighted it in. It was another header where Gakpo had to generate the power off of this because you had to snap your head back across, or didn't even really go across goal, but snap it in anyway to get the power that he needed. Gakpo's, 6'4", 6'3", so, he should be winning that ball in the air, right? And that's what you need him to be. That's the ball. Those are the balls you need him to be winning in the air. It's just so happy. I've been you and I both have been the sticklers of Gakpo all season long. It was a different Gakpo today.
Yes, it was.
And I think it was mainly due to the fact that we let him pick up opportunities on the left wing.
Yeah.
Him and Diaz had the movements that let them get in these positions where it's like, he's not a 10. He's not an attacking mid. He's not a center forward. He's not a hold-up striker. He's not a right winger. He's a left winger. We bought him from PSV as a left-sided player.
Yeah.
And he's able to make runs through the middle. So it was very much a good header, good finish. But honestly, the ball from Elliott probably made that goal.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was, to me, it was all, to your point, Nick, it was a header that he had to generate power, but it was all because of what Elliott did.
Exactly.
It was
that's
all
not to discredit
because of what Elliott did.
Yeah.
But that being said, Gakpo had to make the right play, and he did. So, so it was all good in that particular part and point of time that we were up 3-0.
Yeah.
It's 49th minute.
Cruising.
And it looked, man, we were in total control of what was going on at Anfield at this time. Liverpool is a team that I love to watch when we're just kind of flowing. And we saw Trent make a great run in the 53rd minute. Alisson actually had to do something in the 54th minute, and he made a great save, which we needed. 3-0, we were talking, and we were both saying, let's get a clean sheet. Let's just come out of this thing with a clean sheet. Alisson almost gave up a clean sheet.
Right after we say that, it was like a commentator's curse for you and I.
Yeah. Oh my God, Nick!
That was the power generated on the shot. It was just a great save from Ali.
But when he held the ball,
oh yeah, that's true. He
almost gave up a clean sheet on his own because he was deciding at that point in time to be Brazilian again.
Yes. He needs to not do that.
He needs to not always be Brazilian when he's,
exactly. You're living in England. Okay?
You're living in England.
Come on.
Yes. You can play Brazilian soccer when you're playing for Brazil.
Yes.
Let's not do it when you're playing for Liverpool.
He gets me nervous. He makes those weird decisions. That luckily the deflection did not fall into the net and went out for a goal kick. But yeah, it was. I held my breath.
Yeah. But finally, what we see is a player getting rewarded in the 59th minute. Nick, talk to me about what Harvey was able to do in the 59th minute.
That was a Harvey Elliott's playing to his potential, I guess. It's hard to even say potential anymore for Harvey Elliott because he is in his 20s. He's still young, so I guess he still has potential. It's like you said, Harvey Elliott's just a weird case. Picks the ball up from Mo, takes maybe two people on, creates the chance, maybe it was one, creates the little amount of space you need to get a shot off, wraps his foot around it, top corner, beautiful. Those are those finishes where, everyone loves to see you strike the hell out of a ball and clean hit, but this was just a beautiful finish. Nestles right into the top corner. Not a keeper in the world could save it. Rewarded for his already outstanding game by getting a goal. It's funny because those are the goals that I don't mean to compare him to anybody. It was very much a Phil Foden-esque type of goal. We've seen Phil Foden be amazing for Man City this season, and he's scored a lot of those types of goals where he's got his left foot around it and wrapped it into the corner. So it was kind of cool to see our own little star boy in terms of Harvey Elliott do the same, because Absolutely. Phil Foden has been amazing for City this season. So to see Harvey do it as well is like, we got our own little guy. If this guy can keep moving off of this, we got someone here. He needed it, in my opinion, because it was still the question of can he start for Liverpool? But hey, if he's doing that, why not?
I think the word that you used when it happened was that was a world-class goal.
Yeah.
And it really was. where, as you had said, there's no keeper stopping it. They're not going to stop that. Harvey Elliott, to me, is a player that when he plays the way he played today, he's one of the best. He's really one of the best young stars in the Premier League
in England. Yeah,
he can have a really nice England national team career if he does the type of the way he played today. Unfortunately, we have this roller coaster ride with Harvey sometimes.
Yeah, it really is.
Where he's playing the way he played against Tottenham, and then he'll play the way he played against, I don't know, whoever it might have been recently, where, he really wasn't at his best. And I don't know if that, and he is young. Mm-hmm. So there's some of that playing into it as well. But today, this was a goal I thought he deserved after the game he had been putting together today.
100%.
And so to see it was really just just a fantastic if you're a fan of Harvey Elliott.
I mean, he's super passionate as well. I mean, you can tell him
he loves the club.
Loves the club. I mean, every celebration he does is passionate. He loves wearing Liverpool shirt. I hope he never shows allegiance to Fulham ever again, the way the Fulham fans treat him.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous. The fact he shouldn't even put it on his bio that he played at Fulham.
Absolutely.
He just said he's a Liverpool player through and through.
Yeah. So the other thing we saw with this goal was Mo had 2 assists.
I know, just like that. Just like that.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of went under the radar a little bit because the goal was so nice.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Mo kind of got the thing started, but Mo ends up with a goal and 2 assists at this point. So things are looking really, really good for Liverpool. And then, Tottenham brings in this clown that I cannot stand, and I think this guy's just pretty much a piece of garbage. And I've despised this man, but he does have a way of
hurting us.
He has a way of hurting us and getting underneath our skin a little bit, and that's Richarlison. Richarlison hurt us, literally, physically hurt us when he played for Everton.
And he hurt Thiago.
And he hurt Thiago, and should have been on the lineup sheet at the police station next to Pickford when Pickford wipes out Van Dijk.
Yeah.
So, but this guy, I just find this man to be a total buffoon, but he is a player.
Yeah.
And he is
Brazilian as well.
He's a Brazilian, and he is a player. Why he doesn't start for Tottenham or didn't start today, I'll never know, because he does make things happen.
I'm grateful he didn't, because
Me too.
It's one of those things where I love in terms of Tottenham players I'd taken a Liverpool shirt in a heartbeat would be Heung-min Son.
Yeah.
But he's been he's been a shadow of himself up to this point. Son in the recent games hasn't been able to be relied upon to get the goals that Tottenham needs. So I think that maybe they didn't start with Richarlison to give Son more of the freedom of okay, I am going to be the guy today to have to put the team on my back. But honestly, when Richarlison came in, it made Son look a little bit better as well.
Absolutely.
And that's the crazy thing. So I don't know why, Ange Postecoglou, the Tottenham manager, who I kind of like, but I don't really know if I like. He's a weird guy. He's odd. But I don't know why he wouldn't have started Richarlison as well, because Richarlison immediately causes problems when he got subbed on.
It was night and day from what they had done the first half.
Yeah.
And anyway, so Liverpool actually saw a player come on that we haven't seen for...
Seems like, I don't think he's played any... He's been on the bench, but hasn't played any minutes since last season.
Last season.
It had to have been,
Stefan Bajcetic came in the 63rd minute for Endo. And I thought Endo had a nice little game today, too.
Absolutely.
Very, very, very Endo-esque, we should say,
Endo has been the slave of playing too many games,
in
my opinion, because we've had no one really able to play at 6th position, so he's been running to the ground. But when we're in the position of 4-0 up, absolutely you can sub him off.
Absolutely. And we saw Gomez come in for Robbo. I'm thinking, okay, well, hey, it's 4-0.
Yeah.
But then in the 73rd minute, that person we had just talked about, Richarlison, he scores a goal. So then it's 4-1. And the thing for a Liverpool fan at this point in time is we absolutely cannot, in recent games, keep a clean sheet.
No.
And it's just...
If you're the bookies and you're a sports bettor, the easiest money to make is Liverpool to see the goal.
Absolutely.
It's going to start being negative money as opposed to plus money because we cannot keep a clean sheet.
We can't keep a clean sheet. And it's very frustrating. And I don't know if it just comes down to a lack of focus, if we're just sitting there saying, okay, we're in cruise control. But again, I go back to the teams who are ahead of us in the table. I don't see that with City and Arsenal. I don't know.
Here's the thing. Here's how I can relate it. Right. City don't concede in games they know they don't need to concede in. If that makes sense. Yeah. So, City did concede to Wolves yesterday. Didn't really matter. Yeah. Because Holland scored 4 goals. They won 5-1. Whatever.
Yeah. 5-1.
They concede garbage goals against teams that will take something, whatever. Let's score against Man City, woo, you know what I mean? But did you win the game? No. Yeah. City against a Tottenham or against the sides that give them tougher games, they almost don't want to concede at all, and they are almost passionate about not conceding. Right. Whereas Liverpool right now are in the situation where any team, no matter where we're at, whether it's 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. You're almost a little bit nervous whenever we concede a goal. Whereas City's never nervous when they concede a goal because they know they'll be able to see it out.
Right.
And that's the difference.
That's a great, great point because I think even though it's 4-1, I think collectively as Liverpool fans, you're sitting there going, oh no.
Exactly.
Oh no. If you're a City or an Arsenal fan and they give up a goal to whoever, you're going, that's okay, we'll score 3 more.
Exactly that. And that's, exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even think City worries too much about, any of that because they got, a guy that scored 4 yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of thing. You see additional subs come in for Liverpool at 4-1 where you see Diaz go off for Darwin and you see McAllister go off for Gravenberch. Both players, Diaz and Maka, both I thought had fine games.
It was a funny game for McAllister because Harvey Elliott was playing so well. You've almost forgotten McAllister.
He didn't have to be McAllister today, right?
Exactly.
He didn't have to do that.
Harvey Elliott was doing McAllister's job today of being that guy in the midfield, which was great.
But he was fine.
Yeah, he was still fine. Yeah.
But then, almost immediately after this happens, Liverpool falls into a comical defensive. It was so sloppy, and you see Son score a goal again. Richarlison came in; it kind of came through Richarlison.
Yeah.
And you see Son score a goal, and it's 4-2. And now, if you're a Liverpool fan, you're going, "Oh my God!" Because there's still time left. There's still time left in this game. We had not seen this game out yet.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, it should make Ange Postecoglou being like, well, damn, I should have started with Richarlison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he came on and he was finding pockets of spaces that Son wasn't finding, that Kulusevski wasn't finding, that any of their attacking players weren't finding. Richarlison was finding, and it was causing us issues.
They were split. I mean, he was just splitting the defense way too easily.
Right down the middle.
Oh my God!
I've never seen us get split down the middle as much as this.
It was just acres of space.
That's the one thing that, I remember I even played center back for a little bit, and the first thing you learn as a center back is don't let the guy get in the middle of you two. It's almost a little bit embarrassing as a center back to let a guy split you down the middle. If he's making runs off the shoulders, going into the wings, diagonal runs, that's acceptable. But a straight run down the middle, that's basics.
Right. Really weird play in the 80th minute. Mo, it was a tough ball. It was it had kind of been driven into the ground a little bit, but it was still, and he just, we both looked at it and said, he just kind of wrong-footed that thing.
It was weird because when it looked in real time, it looked like he maybe didn't have a chance to think about what to do, but then you look at it in slow-mo, it's like, wait a second, he could have done anything he wanted to do. He could have even taken a touch if he wanted to and put it past it into the net. And then he stuck his weird little right foot out.
His right foot.
It was that would have put the game. You really would have thought 5-2 to bed, and we could maybe have breathed. Or who knows?
Well, I'm thinking at 4-2. I'm thinking we needed a fifth goal
for
me to sit there and go, okay, I can sit back now.
Yeah, exactly.
So to have that happen, it was just kind of, come on now, and then at 81st minute, We did see a goal, but it was called offside, and rightly so. Mo was offside.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where we needed that goal, but it wasn't happening. I mean, Darwin came on, and he, loves being offsides as well. I mean, it's just...
Well, it was funny. At that point, before Darwin came on, we had been offside 6 times, and I said, that's because we hadn't put Darwin in yet. I guarantee if Darwin would have been in,
12.
we'd have been double digits. We'd have been really looking for that. Because, I mean, for whatever reason, he just has difficulty with the offside rule. He just does not quite understand
I don't think he knows how explosive he is. So he doesn't take that for granted, and I think that's he can beat anyone for pace. I think Darwin could go toe to toe with anybody in terms of pace.
Absolutely.
So it's just give yourself maybe back up maybe a step or two. You know you're gonna have confidence to beat the guy in the foot race anyway.
Well, that's the second semester of decision school. He's not there yet, he's
hopefully Arne Slot, in the summer will be like, okay, dude, you gotta go. Come on.
Yes. But then I swear, if this would have worked in the 83rd and 82nd, 83rd. Trent Alexander-Arnold tried. It was a FIFA EA Sports. It's in the game soccer moment where you just try something. You try something outrageous, and the keeper was off his line, and he tried, what was it, midfield?
Probably a little bit
above
midfield. It was definitely. I mean, technique-wise, we all know Trent's technique. We all know Trent's technique is so elegant in general, and it's frustrating because as the ball's in flight, you're like, "This is actually going to drop in.
It's going to go in."
Because that's all we almost believed it was going to go in when it was in the air because it's Trent.
Yeah.
And when it just right onto the top of the net, you're like, "Oh man, that would." But here's the thing: you see it in slow-mo, it's he actually could have put a little bit more power on it. It's hard to even nitpick when you try something like that in general because he had the audacity to try it, a little bit of arrogance. But man, that would have. It almost would have been next. If that was the next goal, I would have been can we blow the whistle now? Let's end it there because it was impressive.
I kept waiting for it to drop right under the crossbar and go in.
Yeah, that's all.
And I remember Zlatan Ibrahimovic did that for Switzerland in a
Sweden.
I'm sorry. Yep. The blue and gold people. Sorry.
Our Swedish listeners.
Yeah. Sorry, Swedish. Yes, but he did that when he in a qualifier or a cup game. I mean, it was just outrageous to do it, and and this almost worked for Trent. So anyway, sorry, Switzerland and Sweden. The final sub came in. Sobo came in for Elliott in the 83rd minute. Just we've talked about Elliott all this whole podcast. We don't need to continue to talk about how great he was, although he was great.
Standing ovation that he deserved.
Yep. We saw Kwanzaa put a nice little tackle on Richarlison, which I loved. I actually probably stood up for that one because, it's the punk Richarlison. Sobo, Nick, he should have scored.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. I don't know why he was even... Great ball from Mo again. Why he tried to take it near post, I don't know, unless he doesn't think he could wrap his hips around it to get it far post. It's just been frustrating times right now for Soboslai.
Really has.
I think that, I don't really know what to say more about him. That would have helped. Any goal helps any confidence, right? Sobo has just not been up to it of late. I think he even probably knows that himself.
I think there's frustration in Sobo right now. I think he understands that the pecking order right now, he's
not really there.
He's not in it right now. He's going to be the guy that come on in the 78th, 82nd minute kind of thing. He'll get it back. He's a young player too. He'll get it back.
It's crazy to think he's only 23, 4?
22.
22.
I think.
Yeah.
He's the captain of his national team at 22, which is really unusual. So he'll get it back. But Allison in the 87th minute, come up big, man. I mean, this was a big save, and then it was cleared off. The second was cleared off by Gomez, which was crucial.
Yeah, and breathe. I mean, the fact that Gomez very athletically. I mean, it was just an outstanding play. I mean, and then they were checking for a penalty on it.
What was that?
Anything is checked for a penalty now. VAR checking for potential penalty. It's no. That's a defender making a defensive play.
Exactly.
Other plays that are quote unquote defensive plays aren't defensive plays whenever you're gaining majority of opposition first, and it's a foul.
Right.
This was a defender making a goal line clearance play where he's getting it was ridiculous.
Just because the Tottenham player ran into the post.
Yeah, I think that's why it got open.
Not a PK worthy view for me on VAR. There was nothing about this particular play that warranted even a check, but they did it anyway because that's what they do and that's what they've done. And so anyway, no PK, because if Gomez doesn't make that save and it's 4-3, because there were 7 minutes added on at the end of the game. So this game at 4-3 is totally different than 4-2. We're in the final 7 minutes again. Nunez just waited too long to pass a ball in the 94th minute. Again, would have just put the game totally to bed. Just didn't happen. And then finally in the 94th minute, Darwin came through and had another offside call. So he had, in the time that he was in, he had 2 offside calls. So, just to increase our stat line from 6 offsides to 8.
He had to get his say. He had to get his final say.
He had to get in there with that. So, so anyway, the game ends. We actually win. We win 4-2. Final stats. Again, this is nice to see. Final stats, Liverpool had 45% of the possession and the Spurs had 55%. Liverpool had 24 total shots. They had 11. So they did kind of pick it up a little bit. We had 12 on goal. They had 6. We won the battle of corners. We had 8 corners. They had 3. And the Spurs keeper made 7 saves, and Alisson made 4. Nik, player of the game.
Harvey Elliott. Harvey Elliott for me, just because of not only the assist he had to Gakpo, but just he was all over the field. He was energetic, lively. And then to top it off with a finish like that, it's hard not to, him or Gakpo would have been the final 2 in my opinion. But Harvey Elliott really, really turned it up a notch today. I know there's only 2 games left in the season, but it'll be interesting to see the role he has with a new manager in the summer. That's not to say that Klopp didn't give him the chances. Obviously, Klopp really does rate him. But sometimes, new ideas can really, I hate to say this because, again, it's, Klopp's been on I love Klopp, but new ideas can revitalize a player. Maybe that player will be Harvey Elliott for the 24-25 season. Who knows? But Harvey Elliott today was outstanding.
For me, I would have loved to have seen what Harvey would have been able to do had he not been injured last year.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he was, prior to his injury last year, we were seeing performances like he had today routinely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Routinely. And that injury kind of derailed him for a while. And, since he's come back, he's had some, as we've talked, he's been hot and cold. We saw him on a hot day today. He was really hot. For me, the player, I'm just going to stay with Gakpo just because of a game that he put together that I think he truly needed.
Yeah.
And I think he needed it. I think fans of Liverpool needed to see him have this game.
Yeah, they'd be asking
because it reassured us. Yeah. It reassured us that this guy may have a future with this club. And so I just, Elliott obviously could have been it, but I'm going to stay with Gakpo for the reasons that I just mentioned. So here we are, Liverpool 78 points. I believe that we can truly end up with 84 points. Mm-hmm. If that is what we are able to do with the remaining 2 games, and we get 6 points out of those games, the season for me will be a successful season based on the fact that last year we finished out of Champions League in 5th place. Yeah. The number of injuries we've had this year, we did win some hardware this year. Wasn't all the hardware we wanted, but to be securely in third in Champions League, I think that this campaign has been what Liverpool fans wanted to see after last year.
I think it's football soccer is very subjective in the sense where it's like I think people forget just how bad we were last year. I hate to say the word bad, but to Liverpool standards, bad. That Champions League this season, right after our season like last year, is a success. It is 100% a success.
Yes.
But it's I think we tend to dwell on the what could have been.
Right.
I think we need to realize once the season ends, in 2 weeks, that the what could have been was almost too good to be true for a season after how bad we were last season. The treble potential is what I'm talking about, which I don't really like to say anymore because, obviously the Premier League and Cup final season would have been amazing. Obviously the Europa League and the FA Cup, like all of them, plus the Carabao Cup, which we would have won, 4 trophies, and we were on track to potentially do that. I think that almost would have been naive of us it was right there and it didn't, but it's like, sometimes it's just a little too good to be true sort of thing, where it's like we were there, but it's like, it's okay that we weren't there because last year we were not where we needed to be.
True.
This year we are where we need to be, which is Champions League. It's Champions League. And when Klopp leaves and we get Arne Slot in, whenever it's finally confirmed by the club, it's like almost everyone knows it's confirmed, but the club hasn't announced it. It's one of those things. So when Arne Slot comes in, it will be these players right now. You can see even in today potentially that they're playing to impress a new manager. I hate to say that, right? They're playing to obviously give Klopp a good send off. But Gakpo today, you can see he was probably trying to play to say, like, maybe this guy doesn't want to put me on a shopping list, sell list this summer, stuff like that, whatever the case may be. Because, the summer is going to be an interesting one with people leaving, people coming in. So it's very much I hate to say the word rebuild because I think we have a core knit here that Klopp did rebuild this year. But we do need a couple additions in the summer. I think we're not naive to say that.
Well, I think there's going to be some movement in the summer.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see, it's going to be interesting to see after the final game. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about this. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Kelleher.
100%.
Because
that's $30 million. That's $30 million right there.
Well, and that's a player that needs to play.
Yeah.
I really think that Kelleher's not going to be happy sitting behind. For what he's done for us this year, I don't think he's going to be happy sitting behind Allison at this point in time.
He shouldn't be in his career.
And he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And only playing FA Cups and Carabao Cups and things like that. He's not going to be happy doing that.
Yeah.
Thiago's gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Matip's gone.
Matip's gone. I mean, so there's going to be those kind of things. I have no way of knowing this. We have no insider information at Kopites Calling. Mo's not going anywhere.
Nah.
The Saudi League's going to flash cash. They're going to flash a lot. Do you really want to go play in the Saudi League for
100 fans?
For 200, 800 fans. Yeah. I mean, and never be. I saw a couple highlights today on SportsCenter from Ronaldo playing for Al Nassr, and I'm like going, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? It's over. Who cares?
Yeah,
I'd rather see him come play in MLS.
100%. No, more people would care if Mo came play in MLS, and I think that Mo Salah is a competitor to the highest standard, and I think he is the type of player that will want to push his body to be at the highest level and to play at the highest level.
That's right.
One thing we can say about Mo is that he's in insane shape. Like
absolutely.
Besides his, the only time he ever gets injured is when it's an AFCON year, which is the craziest thing. I no offense to the AFCON, but the only time he ever gets injured is when he's playing an AFCON.
Yeah.
So he keeps his body in pristine shape.
Yeah.
You can tell his diet is insane. Yeah. His whatever he does in the gym's insane. All this sort of stuff to make sure that he can go out and perform for Liverpool Football Club in the Premier League, the top tier league in the world. Which after we our episodes that we talk about in the summer, I have a good top one. Like maybe this past season of the Premier League wasn't the best in general. This season of the Premier League has been frustrating, and I was mentioning today earlier before the game started, the Liverpool game was like I can't really watch any other games because the Premier League standard this year has not been too good.
It's been off.
It's been very, very off. And that's not denying. Whoever wins it, let's hope it's City. Whoever wins it, because if City wins it, no one cares, and if Arsenal wins it, I don't think we'll ever hear the end of it.
Right.
But the vibe of the Premier League, and of course, like if Liverpool won first place and won it, I'd be saying the complete opposite because it's just the best team. You know what I mean? But the Premier League standard this season has been very, very off. I am confident going to say that. So it'll be. But Mo wants to be in it. That's back to the Mo situation. Mo wants to be in this league.
Well, he's still got something to prove. So I guess our point is he's not going anywhere. I think he's going to stay. There's going to be cash flashed, but he's going to stay.
Yeah.
Additional thoughts? Anything you want to add, Nick, at this point, or are we?
No, it was too little, too late. Where was this? Where that's the one thing.
Where was the freedom?
Where was this? Where was the freedom that this Liverpool team had today? Where was it against Palace? Where was it against Everton? Where was it against United? Where was it against? You could name any of the games. But we now turn the focus to Aston Villa, who is fighting to stay in the. Well, they're fourth. They're still trying to solidify themselves in fourth place, be in the Champions League. So
they lost, and the team chasing them lost.
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost like a cancel out.
Yeah.
So I mean, we play them next Monday. I mean, last time we played Villa was at Anfield. We beat them 3-0 this season. So we're going into their place, into Villa Park, which is they've kind of made it a fortress.
Yeah.
So hopefully more of the same. That's all I can really think of is how to end the season.
Absolutely. Well, hey, this has been a fun podcast. As I said, we've had a chance to do it together. This has been really exciting for Kopites Calling to kind of do this. So, as always, here at Kopites Calling, you'll never walk alone.